translation cabin is for Russian, not Arabic. I don't know.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. Excellencies, dear sisters and brothers, colleagues, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to welcome all of you in this gathering, and let me start by apologizing for the little delay in the start, because we were also late in another event, so I do apologize, but we'll try to make it up. So again, let me welcome all of you to this very important gathering, in this event, where we'll be launching the special program for the Central Asia. Let me start by, first, before going through the program, by a recitation of the Holy Quran, and then I will take you through the program.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. ثم إنكم بعد ذلك لميتون. ثم إنكم يوم القيامة تبعثون. صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم. أحسنت جزاك الله خير. Excellencies, sisters and brothers, colleagues, the IDB group welcomes you all to this afternoon for the launching of the special program for the Central Asia, the SPCA. After an extensive preparation and consultation process, today is the happy occasion of launching the IDB group's new regional initiative, namely SPCA. About 2 months ago, we have met with representatives of the member country governments and the development partners in Istanbul. We had a session there to discuss the logic, the priorities, and the implementation arrangement of the SPCA. After this successful workshop in Istanbul, the program has been revised based on the feedback received from all participants, especially the member countries involved. As you know, the SPCA covers 6 countries in Central Asia and the Caucasus: Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. And this program was aimed to support their cooperation efforts and to open avenues for cooperation with other regions in the neighboring countries, in the Middle East, and beyond. And this program is designated to complement existing regional cooperations initiative in Central Asia as a platform for joint action. We are very thankful to all of you for your valuable support and the commitment to move this initiative forward. Special thanks to local participants from various government agencies, universities, academics, centers of excellence, and ASEAN Secretariat for joining us today and for all of you. Let me start by inviting His Excellency, the Vice President of CCD, Dr. Saeed Agha, to give the opening remark for this session.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu nusalli ala Rasulul Kareem. First, let me thank all of you for being here. And this is the only reason I came here. And it will be a very short opening statement. And thank also our host country for the facilities they have provided to us to make all this happen. And special thanks to the member countries of the Central Asia for the cooperation in the SPCA. It is, as Brother Saati mentioned, a true regional program that will add efficiency, flexibility, and effectiveness. This is why we believe it will be a successful program in advancing the development causes in the region. With that, I would like to end my statement, and I hope it's a record opening statement. Thank you all, and wish you success.
Thank you, Excellency, Mr. Vice President, for this record, really, okay, for our opening statement. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Now, with your permission, I'll just walk quickly through the program, and I do apologize because I came running from another session. We will start after this opening remark with a short presentation, and if you allow me, I'll make it myself, about the salient feature of the SPCA. After that, we'll have some brief statements by member countries' delegations who are with us today. And after that, we'll have a panel discussion on the cooperation implementation of the SPCA. And my dear colleague, Professor Savas Alpai, our chief economist of the IDB, will be the panelist, or the moderator, sorry, for the panel. And after that, we'll have some closing remark. So with your permission, I'll just go quickly through the quick presentation. Inshallah, will not take too much time about the salient feature of this program. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now, the SPCA is similar to another program that we have undertaken in the IDB group with our development partners. We call it SPDA, which is a special program for the development of Africa. I'm not going to say they are matching, but again, we learned from the experience of the SPDA for Africa in developing the SPCA. So as an introduction, the format of the presentation will be an introduction about the development context and the challenges for the region and what was the rationale for the program. Then what is the SPCA? So I'll be briefly presenting the strategic framework and the priorities. How are we going to, again, I mean, talking or presenting is something, and then how you implement it. So we'll be highlighting the financing and the implementation roadmap, like the indicative envelope and the implementation, and then some conclusions and the way forward. So as an introduction, you can go next, please. Next, please. Now, for the development of the program, we again, just some salient feature of the region. This region has been known for high growth rates. I mean, we have witnessed some growth rate up to 9 and 10% and 8% in the region, which is remarkable and to be applauded. However, poverty reduction challenge has not even been at the same pace. So again, we're seeing in some variety in the kingdom, but again, poverty reduction and poverty alleviation still is a challenge. And then also the economic situation, which is not only in the region, but global, such as the falling commodity prices, the oil revenues, and the oil prices also is a major challenge. And then sustaining this progress of the growth is a key challenge for the region. So this program, hopefully the SPCA, again, we're not going to say that the program, but this program complemented by other programs definitely will help us in alleviating poverty, in helping the countries. Next, please. Now, let me emphasize one thing. This program, as we will be highlighting in a minute, okay, it does not cover all sectors, because these sectors can be covered at the bilateral level. For each country, IDB group will be having their own programs with the countries, covering many, many sectors. But we tried in this program to select the areas that are common among the 6 member countries in Central Asia. And after thorough analysis and review and consultation, we realized that the 4 areas, which are energy, transport, agriculture, and trade, could form the platform for our engagement, again, at the regional level within that region. So what are the key challenges and diversification and competitiveness for the region? Quickly in the energy, so we're looking at inefficient use of the natural resources, a deteriorated state of the existing power assets, and the efficiency in generation and transmission distribution. It could be generation loss, it could be transition loss, it could be an outdated equipment or facilities, and also a dramatic reduction in the power trade between these countries. Moving to the transport sector, again, the region is, the countries in the region are also known to be landlocked countries, so there is a difficult geography, low density of the population, and long distances between economic activity centers. These are big countries with vast population and also distances. Poor quality of transport infrastructure and services. and limited transport networks. As far as the agriculture sector is concerned, there is doubling of the demand for food, and the population increases, therefore the demand for food, and everybody's talking about food security, not only in the region but global. Water scarcity, although some countries in the region are rich water, when I'm talking about Kyrgyzstan and the others. Low agriculture productivity, it's a region known for agriculture, but here we're talking about efficiency and effectiveness and productivity. Vulnerability to natural disasters, God forbids if there are earthquakes or other natural disasters, and land degradation from environment, climate change, and other reasons. Last but not least, trade. We're talking about high trade costs, so here we're looking facilitation of trade, how we can make it more effective and I would say win-win. Underdeveloped trade services, cumbersome customs and administration, double taxation, customs, tariffs, all of this, which I'm sure most of you know better than myself. I'm not an expert in that area. And insufficient economies of scale. So, what is the SPCA? And what are the strategic framework for the SPCA? Now, from the overarching goals of the SPCA, we're trying to look into enhancing growth, enhancing competitiveness and efficiency, and increasing trade. Because when you look at trade, it involves everything. It involves energy, it involves transportation, food security, agriculture development, etc. The sectors, as I mentioned, the trade, development, enhancing regional energy security and development, expanded transport networks, increasing agricultural production and value additions, and enabling environment to achieve such a program and a strategy. We're hoping that the Islamic finance tools, which are not demanded by the region, even globally right now, and I'm sure you have been attending seminars during this annual meeting where Islamic finance, standardization, tools, products, dissemination, knowledge is highly demanded. Capacity development is very, very important. Everywhere you go, everybody's talking about capacity development. The countries, executing agencies, networking, knowledge, etc. Private sector. You cannot do it without the private sector. You can, yes, of course, public sector is important, but again, when you're talking about trade, we're talking about PPPs, energy, and all of that, you cannot do it without the private sector. So the private sector have to play a big role in here. And last but not least, environmental sustainability. So we're talking about climate change, environment degradation, etc., etc. Now, what are the priority? Next, please. Priority intervention in this program. Next slide, please. When we're looking at the trade, we're looking at trade policy development, capacity development for trade promotion, SMEs, small and medium enterprises, exports, and transit facilitation. As far as energy is concerned, we're looking at increasing generation, we're looking at efficiency of the transmission and distribution, and also we're looking at energy exchanges between countries, again, low demand, high demand, so again, how we can materialize and utilize. Transport, we're looking at national quality infrastructure systems, whether it could be highways or seaports or airports. We're looking at maintenance policies. I have worked in that region and we do build roads. However, maintenance is very, very important. So this issue about maintenance funds, policies for maintenance, sustainability are highly, highly important. Financing, again, the renewal of the rolling rocks, stocks, about resource mobilization, being innovative is very important. And then standardization and safety measures, whether it's rail or highways. So we're looking at standardization and efficiency here. When it comes to agriculture, we're looking at into irrigation infrastructure enhancement and water management. We're looking at increased crop production. And also we're looking at increased value addition. So the value addition, which is kind of like the private sector will play a big role, is very, very important. Now, how are we going to implement the SPCA? Again, as I said, talking is nice, but again, here we're talking about the financing and the implementation. So here, the process that will be involved in with the mechanism, we'll be having a special like we had a special meeting with the governors, IDB governors involved of the region, and also the OIC. So we'll have a kind of like an annual meeting to report on the progress of the program. We'll have a technical committee meeting biannually, like every 6 months. Now this will be supported by at the country level. Again, here we're talking about the regional program, but here we're talking about at the country level. So we'll have a national coordinator for each country who will be representing the country with the technical committee. Also, of course, we'll be talking about sector here, so we'll be having some subcommittees at the sector level covering the trade, the energy, the transport, and the agriculture. And then we'll be having a secretariat to coordinate this whole effort. And then, as I mentioned, IDB group cannot do it alone, so here we rely much on our development partners, the Asian Development Bank, the World Bank, the OIC, the UNDP, ECHO, all of them. Okay. Of course, I cannot overemphasize that there are other regional initiatives like CARIC, like other initiatives that are taking place in the region. So here we're not competing, we're complementing all of these efforts. Next, please. Now, quickly, as far as the financing, I'm not going to go into detail, but here we're looking into a total envelope, again, from the IDB group between the period 2016 to 2020 of nearly $6 billion. Again, coming from ordinary sources, about 2.5 billion over this period. We're looking at the resource concessional allocation coming from mobilization from concessional resources from here and there, about 370 million. Trade facilitation, big contribution, about 1.25 billion. Private sector, almost 500 million. And then co-financing from our development partners and resource mobilizations through Sukuk issuance, etc., of about 1.375. So that's about 6 billion over the period. And the total financing is estimated, again, as I mentioned, 6 billion. The concessional element of this total financing will vary depending on the type of the intervention. It depends on the sector. It depends on the region. It depends on the type of financing that we will do. And then the bank is assured to earmark about 15% of the OCR in concessional, I would say, resources. So, in conclusion of just highlighting this program, next, please. We hope at the implementation, and again, the implementation is another story. Again, maybe during the panel discussion, we'll talk about the challenge that we'll be facing during the implementation. We're expecting that the SPCA will contribute as a result in a wider production base, increase the production and the value addition in agriculture, in the industrial and the SMEs and the other sectors. We hope that we increase trade within the region and increase regional energy security, and expand the transport network in the region based on the 4 areas that we have selected. Again, let me emphasize that all contribution to increase the enhanced competitiveness and economic growth and cooperation are our overarching aim. So with that, this is just the highlight of the program. So next, I would like to maybe take this opportunity if there are any brief interventions from the member countries' delegations regarding this program. We'll be willing to hear from them. Any, or maybe it will come later on during the panel discussion. So with that, let me move to the next part of our discussion, which is really the main part of the event, which is our panel discussion. So here we have a rich composition of the panel, and as I mentioned, this session will be moderated by Professor Savaj Alpai, our chief economist of the IDB. Our panelists, which I will invite to join us here at the podium. I'll start with Ambassador Hamid Obli Breyer, the Assistant General of the OIC. Ms. Siti Malideha, the Director of the Technical Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia. My brother Hani Salim Sumbul, well, we had here acting, but now congratulations, the CEO of the ITFC, our International Islamic Trade Finance Corporation of the IDB Group. Okay, congratulations again. Shihan Sultan Go, Assistant Administrator and Director of the Regional Bureau for Europe and CIS at the UNDP, and Dr. Sasha Dujiman, the Regional Manager for Central Asia of the World Bank. So with that, I thank you again for your kind attention, and let me turn it. Okay, and sorry, again, our Vice President, CCD, Dr. Sayed Agha. Okay. So with that, I turn it over in good hands with Professor Savach, and thank you very much for your attention.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to welcome all our distinguished panelists on special program for Central Asia. And some of our panelists have flights, I know, so we have to be moving directly to panel. So what I will do, I will be giving 3 to 4 minutes initial remarks for each of our panelists, and then I will be asking them 1 or 2 questions, and then we will have questions from the podium. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Sayed Agha to make his initial remarks. If you like, you can do it over there, whatever you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, Dr. Savash. As was explained in the presentation, of course, regional cooperation is an important way of advancing development in our member countries. It brings scale, it enhances efficiency, and also best practices. It is also a very practical way of what we call in development community the South-South cooperation, technical cooperation between countries in the region. And we hope that in addition to its economic benefits that were aimed in the presentation, it will also bring countries in the region more and more closer for better cooperation, that the benefits will go beyond the components of the program. So this is why we believe that more and more regional cooperation and more regional programming will be the way forward in the future. A significant amount of our resources, at least, will be dedicated to that. Just to remind all of us that the Islamic Development Bank is a unique MDB that was established for the sole purpose of enhancing cooperation and partnership between its member countries. So it's one of the fundamental objectives and mission of IDB that is included in the Article of Agreement, but also in our 10-year strategy, Vision 1440, that we are all striving towards. We hope that this program will be a center of excellence for the future such programs in this region, but also in other regions as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for initial remarks. And I would like to move to Ambassador Hamid Opeleoro for his initial remarks. He is Assistant Secretary General for Economic Affairs, Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Please.
Thank you very much, Professor Moderator. Also, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I also wish to commend this initiative from the IDB group actually in particular, for bringing forth this special program for Central Asia. Now, if I say bring forth, I'm talking of a new product that is now coming onto the market. But this product actually is also a result of a process that started in 2011. Apparently, precisely, it was 2010. So if we are talking of SPCA, we'll be linking it together with OIC PACA. OIC PACA is OIC Plan of Action for Cooperation with Central Asia. And you will recall that the Council of Foreign Ministers of the OIC in 2010 in Tajikistan, they adopted a resolution specifically on cooperation with Central Asia. And this plan of action was elaborated, and then in 2011, we also went into the creation of a high-level meeting of ministers of Central Asia together with some ministers from OIC. And this meeting was the highest level of discussion in for this particular project. Now we also had an executive group, which IDB was a very key member of that executive group. And the executive committee also had been meeting, and they went through various stages, which possibly I will elaborate in my next intervention. But then, what is important really is that the SPCA is a very constructive response to one of the preoccupations of OIC member states in creating some regional multilateral cooperation. I mean, that is try to regionalize multilateralism. But multilateral cooperation can be piecemealed into regional frameworks. Of course, the IDB has a good experience in this, and the OIC in terms of the special program for development of Africa. So now we are now going into special program for Central Asia, and that is, of course, the origin of the SPCA. Now, in this particular regard, we are looking at a situation where the 4 areas that is being covered by SPCA, these are areas that deal mainly with physical infrastructure. But then the program also has another second segment or component, which is the human capital development or social infrastructure, if you like. And so therefore, these 4 areas has been taken, at least by this program. The OIC PACA, which is, of course, is almost like the umbrella framework for this project, will continue together with all the other OIC institutions. And then they will also try to contribute to the program in terms of human capital development. Of course, our institutions like the research institutions, such as CESTRIC, or some of our institutions that are dealing with health and pandemics will also contribute to this. So it's an entire OIC program which all the 57 countries are going to continue to contribute to this project. And so therefore, I must commend the IDB for taking the lead right from 2010 and 11, after the first investment forum, which was held in Tajikistan in 2014. This is also the most constructive response from the OIC group to the developmental aspirations of Central Asia. So I will stop here, and then later on I will continue.
Thank you, Ambassador Pelayoro. Now I would like to move Mr. Hanis Sumbul, CEO of ITFC, for his initial remarks. It's open.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for inviting me to this very important session. As you know, the CIS countries as one of the really major focus area of ITFC strategy. We are very much focused on this region. We have a program also designed and created especially for the CIS countries. We feel that this countries has a very special and unique setup in terms of the structure, in terms of geography, and in terms of the resources that it is available in the CIS countries. So since the inception of ITFC, we have really tried very much to see what are the challenges that are facing an area which is supposed to be very famous historically in terms of trade. As we all know that most of these countries in the history, they are located around actually the famous Silk Road that has been very famous not only on transmitting goods but also in transmitting cultures and transmitting experiences that is between the countries. We feel, of course, that there are major challenges that we need to tackle in ITFC, so that's why we said One of them, as I said, the scarcity of resources in one country and the availability in other countries. Trying to see that how the difficulty of the locations, landlocked mostly, and the need really to facilitate this kind of a trade. So we started to also to feel that a single product for that region will not be really very much, will not meet the demand. So we felt that in order for us to play a role in enhancing intra-OIC trade there, is that we need to look how can we provide trade solutions. And of course, we started designing structured trade finance schemes for each country and for the region. At that time, in 2009, we started this. And alhamdulillah, we've been very successful to the degree that ITFC has won really awards for best deals done in CIS countries. And I feel very proud that also the team was able to really go out of the box and find ways and means of doing this. We are also trying to see how can we increase this intra-regional trade, because definitely the percentage does not reflect the potentials and available really business between them. We know that for sure. We know that the major partners for these countries are either Europe, China, and Russia. And then we want really to see that also in the process of enhancing intra-OIC trade, that also more trade is done within the OIC community. And of course, we have taken this into consideration when we felt also that there is a need actually to build the capacities. So we thought in the beginning of really having what is called an aid for trade for that very special reason. And actually, the ITFC has really spent a lot of efforts to really see that this kind of a program succeed. Now, of course, what is happening today is we are having a more of a comprehensive IDB group program in that special area. However, the groundwork for the trade aspect was actually done in 2009, where we had many technical meetings to have what is called the needs assessment of the region, and also we've had even up to the higher level of having ministerial meetings really to decide on the way forward for the trade among these countries. We know that these countries, of course, is going to be one of the really, if we succeeded, the potentials are quite high. We have, of course, focused on certain sectors in the past in ITFC, especially the energy sector, and we tried our best really to fulfill the needs. We have done a lot of also wheat, transactions, agriculturals. We provided fertilizers and seeds, and also we have covered by today most of the supply chain, of the transaction. So I think the area has a lot of potentials. We have succeeded. Now we are going into a different type of sectors. However, I feel that maybe the special program for this, for IDB group in the area of trade will focus definitely on what we call the policy, policy development. We will try to also support and see mechanism for supporting the SMEs. We will continue to really do business with the region. I'm not really very satisfied with the $1 billion of financing that we have provided for CIS. I think this number or this amount can be tripled if we do find a way. Yes, we have succeeded in financing these sectors, but I think the potentials are great. I think the capacity building area has to really take.
We can have it in the second round.
Okay.
The capacity.
So the capacity building, of course, this is what we want to. So with this, maybe I will later on explain more on what is exactly ITFC can do and learn from the experiences that we have done in other regions.
Thank you, Mr. Sumbul. Now let me move to Ms. Siti Nugraha Mavdudia, Director for Technical Cooperation, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Indonesia. So what can Indonesia offer in the context of SPCA?
Thank you very much.
CA, thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank for the opportunity to be here, to be part of this important occasion. And secondly, I would like to welcome, to congratulate the SPCA of the Spatial Program for Central Asia, and look forward to work together between Indonesia and this, be it the individual countries of the Central Asia or as a group. Let me briefly introduce what we have done so far in South-South cooperation in brief. Since the 80s, we've provided a program, capacity building program for developing countries, and of course the purpose of the mostly the cooperation is in the technical assistance form, and the purpose of the technical assistance is to help the beneficiary countries in